Hi, my name is Ida Byrd-Hill, and I am president of Uplift Inc. We are the nonprofit that is sponsoring this live YouTube webcast by the name K.I.S.S Begins at Home. This and program is based on my best-selling Amazon book, K.I.S.S Begins at Home. K.I.S.S stands for Kids in Successful Schools. And we believe that any school that has successful children began at the place of residence where they live with their parents. So we are saying to individuals who are looking at this place, particularly educators and administrators, are you tired of working harder but only seeing incremental increases in student performance on standardized tests? I know you're working harder because corporate America is demanding 63% of the jobs require a bachelor's degree. But yet only 27.2 of America's population has a bachelor's degree. Corporate America wants college educated students and workers with a specialization in STEM, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, and an aptitude for invention, innovation, and creative problem solving. Now, the problem of why you're working harder, schools used to deliver about 20% of its students to college, but now corporate America wants all 100% to go, which is where the struggle begins. And let's face it, all of our standardized exams are testing to see if our kids are college ready. The only problem is that standardized exams do not just look at academics. They look at values, they look at cultural exposure, and they look at vocabulary. So you need to work a little bit smarter and maximize the 6 to 7 hours you have with your students each day by interacting with the greatest influence in their lives, their parents. Newsweek highlighted in an article that the greatest influence in a child's life, and even in a teenager's life, is not their peers, it is not music, it is not the society around them. It is their parents. Positive or negative, parents are the greatest influence in a child's life. Let's take a look at some negative influence, which many of us are very well of.
Looks like rain again today. Dark clouds gather and fill the sky. Don't know how to talk to you, just know how to say goodbye.
Would you actually got a driver's license? I don't think so. Did you see his back there, George?
Go back where you came from. Learn to speak English.
Go back where you came from. That's a nice thing to me. What's wrong with you, Harry? Stop crying.
Get over here. You don't want to speak. I've had enough of you. I've had enough of you.
Children see, children do. You want to stop this type of behavior? Then you need to reach out to the homes where this behavior begins. It's with the parents. Oftentimes, parents are not aware that children mimic what parents do. They don't really hear what you have to say. They watch what you do, and they unfortunately mimic it, and they have the same behaviors as you do. School was once the purveyor of society's values. But in this day of political correctness, schools are kind of in a rock and a hard place. They know what students need to be successful not only in school and society, but they are afraid sometimes to say it to parents because you don't know how they're going to react. And that is the reason why I wrote KISS, Kids in Successful Schools Begins at Home, to instill those values that lay the proper foundation for education. And as we're living in this age of political correctness, the book says things that maybe you, the principal or educator, would like to say, but you don't want to say in this age of political correctness. The chapters include titles such as A Loving Atmosphere, talking about how love plays a role in education, a rock solid salvation, which is necessary for kids, what positive thoughts will do, what a listening ear, a structured discipline, a productive education, work ethic, and a fun, playful adventure. Those are the headings of the major chapters. And as you see, it lays values other than just saying education is important. And I'll tell you why I wrote the book. My parents were high school dropouts at ages 17 and 18. My father was 18, my mom was 17. And my mom dropped out of high school because she was pregnant with my older brother. My father didn't graduate and became a trucking entrepreneur, and did pretty well for himself. Moved to a suburban um, community in Flint. And then my parents got divorced, and I returned to a Flint housing project at the age of 15. And having moved from suburbia back to the city of Flint, was exposed to crime and expected present pregnancy ages in my neighborhood at 16. And I realized, wow, students really do face some circumstances within our communities. But nonetheless, I went on and graduated from high school, so did my three siblings. But I received my degree from the University of Michigan in economics. And it was just so exciting to see how becoming an academic superstar got me to college. Now I'm in the midst of completing my MBA at Strayer University. But even so, with my parents helping to get me to the University of Michigan, that's probably not so exciting. It's more so than the second thing is that I'm setting a family legacy that my twins are in college. One is attending Western Michigan, specializing in advertising, and the other one is attending Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, specializing in new media and software engineering. And along with them, I prepared 100 other students for college. I think that's a really wonderful feat for a single mom. But then the thing that I realized as being a single mom, and I thought I was a super parent and all of that, that I asked my mom, just out of my own curiosity, your mother left you at age 12. How did you become a good mom? I mean, how did you know what to do? I mean, you gave us assistance with our homework. We did studying. We did museums. We did dance classes, art classes, board games, puzzles, theaters. And what she said just stopped me in my boots. She said the teachers taught her. The teachers taught her how to be a good parent. They taught us what the values of education and things that she needed in her children's life. And what she did is just follow through on making that happen. That's how important positive role models are in
Children are like sponges. Absorbing everything around them. Especially from you. Model good and healthy behavior.
You prepare the school for being success. Because if they do all the things that are necessary in the home to prepare the kids for the 6 hours you have them, your 6 hours would be so much more smoother, so much more productive, and you would see the results on standardized exams. So I'm asking you to help me help you go back to the old school values, but because they work. And I'm going to tell you some of the successes that I have had in helping to implement these old school values. First was at Hanstein Elementary. That was in 2002 through 2004. Our reading scores went from 28.1 in 1 year to 78.1 in the same year, thanks to Open Court, free commercial. And our math scores went from 39.1 to 69.1 in the same year. So I thought that was very hefty of the return of seeing how parents, we saw some of the same clients from 16.4 to 69 in math. So that was just really hefty. But even still, with those two schools, people, oh, that's a fluke. So we took on our greatest challenge ever. Our nonprofit became a pilot for alternative high school, catering to adjudicated youth and high school dropouts. That high school was called Hustle and Techno Preparatory High. And that high school was situated in the CompuWare building, and it utilized a blended cyber school type curriculum. And we are proud to say that we had an attendance rate, mind you, these are former dropouts, of 96%. Our rate of suspension was 12 suspensions throughout the year. We had our collective grade point average went from 0.738 to 2.35. Our parent participation rate was 70%. Our graduation rate was 80%, and our college matriculation rate was 100%. I would say that's hefty for the type of population that we serve, but that's what happens when you return to old-fashioned school values. Then we turned around and we had an impact on a high-performing school that was already high-performing nonetheless, but was struggling in math and science proficiency on the Michigan Merit Exam, which is basically the ACT for the state of Michigan. And we were able to move their math proficiency scores from 12.7 to 17.58, and their science from 23.53 to 27.227. And so we were pretty excited about how this program, K.I.S.S, begins at home, which is basically pushing old-fashioned values back to the home and ensuring that education happens in all shape, forms, of fashion within the home. Now, that could be in myriad of ways. It could be board games, it could be puzzles, it could be theater, it could be festivals, it could just be any and everything that's related to education, but doesn't necessarily always have to be studying. It can be studying. I'm a lover of reading, so in my household, everyone reads. They almost don't have a choice. There are books everywhere. There are magazines everywhere. I mean, you're almost forced to read because there's so much reading material. Those things are what makes homes effective in bringing education to the schoolhouse. So I advocate, rather than knocking on the door of every parent, you could send K.I.S.S Begins at Home by live YouTube livecast, just like I'm having this conversation with you, either on the computer, on a cell phone, anywhere that the parent resides. They can be able to look at these little vignettes and learn something about those old-fashioned values that come to the classroom. And these classes at K.I.S.S Begins at Home can also be held on site. We do what we call mobile cultural explorations, workshops that actually are in museums and cultural places throughout the region. And we can do these live or all of the above. These classes are specifically designed for the parent of a struggling child because we believe that K.I.S.S old school values with the modern day twist will have such an impact on standardized exam proficiency as it has had in the past. But we're asking you to take a gamble. So if you feel like you're working harder, now's probably the time to work a little bit smarter. Reach out to your parents, especially those who normally do not come and visit you at the school, and help them get involved with K.I.S.S. Because kids in successful schools do begin at home. Secondly, maybe you could encourage them to purchase our book on Kindle. Or even better yet, the paperback version of K.I.S.S Begins at Home will be launching out of the publisher on December the 20th. You can pre-order a copy of this and have a prosperous new year. Both the books and the workshops can be purchased with Title $1. And we're asking you to join us for our next live webcast. That webcast will be occurring on December the 27th at 8 o'clock. And the subject for that webcast will be Future Lifestyle Maps for the Family, planning your future for 2013 and goals not only for the adults in the household, but also for the children. We look forward to seeing you again at K.I.S.S Begins at Home live production.